Yeah, what's good, cryptocurrency fans out there? Welcome back to the Everything Altcoin channel. Today, we're going to be talking about why am I so bullish on Base and its ecosystem. Of course, you guys already know how this has been playing out. I've been talking about Base on this channel for quite some time. We have some good success with Virtual, Zora, Aerodrome. A lot of Base altcoins has shown success on this channel actually. And I believe there's going to be more success to come, especially as this DEX on Coinbase continues to roll out. So we got to talk about everything here on this video here. So before we get into talking about all of that, I would like to ask you guys, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. We're on the road to 30K subscribers. So if you guys want to help out with that, hit that red subscribe button. Don't forget to like the video, comment what you guys think down below. And while you guys are down here, you guys can hit that Discord link to join the Discord to continue the crypto conversation we're having daily. And you guys can ask that most important question on how does that Patreon group works. As you guys know, we're running a promotion right now. The fourth quarter is here, the great lock-in. This is where you need to pay attention. Because of that, we're having a 40% discount on Patreon. So if you guys want to test out the Patreon group and get your feet wet, this is the time to do it. You can check out the posts on Patreon to see all the calls I've been making. As I make them public after some time, I post them up here, and I'm gonna continuously try to keep them all updated. This is pretty much a lot of the wins we've had. We've been owning Base, like I've been saying, from Zora creator coins to virtual agents to the whole overall Base ecosystem. We've just been winning on there. So if you guys do not want to miss out on that, check out that promotion. Check out my ebook to the Essentials to Mastering Tokenomics. This will help you guys pick out the next gem in your cryptocurrency portfolio once you're able to understand market cap, FDV, circulating supply, vesting, right, narratives. All of that is very important to picking out the next gem in your cryptocurrency portfolio, and you can find it on Amazon or on Patreon. Links for that would be in the description and the comment section down below. And let's get right into the video, guys. So the Base ecosystem is continuously building out here. A lot of new emerging altcoins, top altcoins is popping up on here. There's going to be a few new blue chips that's going to be on Base, especially something like Aerodrome, things like that. There's going to be a lot of altcoins that's going to be up here that a lot of people are going to want to trade, especially as it continues to roll out to not a lot of users on the Coinbase app. Now, why am I very bullish on Base as of right now, right? So you guys can see the founder of Moonrock Capital, a VC, has put out this tweet, had an interesting call with a founder of a very prominent L2. We don't know what the L2 is, but he said they started to realize it's impossible to compete with the distribution and liquidity of Solana and Base. We believe, well, I believe there's going to be a huge conversation not very soon. It's probably even happening right now. Solana versus Base is like Android versus Apple. But we're going to talk about that a little bit more later, right? So instead of pushing their own L2, they're focusing on incubating apps for Solana and Base in order to generate revenue, which they can funnel back into their own token. In other words, they're cannibalizing their own ecosystem and shutting it down for the sake of utility and revenue. Slowly but surely, the space is healing, and I'm expected the trend to continue. This leads to the next conversation that has happened with Kyle and Luca. They basically talking about how consumer journey is pretty much broken in crypto, having to go to different places just to achieve something that you want to do. So instead of having, to essentially pull up the MetaMask, your Phantom wallet, different things like that, you can all have it in one place where you can just do all your transactions on one app. And that's what Coinbase is really trying to succeed with doing right now by integrating that whole DEX feature onto Coinbase. And they also talk about how chains are pretty much a bad business model, a dead revenue model, and things like that. And that pretty much goes back to the bottom part of what Simon said in this post here, where essentially this L2 is pretty much looking to incubate apps for Solana and Base to generate more revenue for their own ecosystem. So what people has been looking for lately is an all-in-one place, and Coinbase is starting to really double down on that. So on the Coinbase app, you're going to have your mini apps, you're going to have your DEX trading. This is giving retail access to everything that we had access to basically on a decentralized side, but they don't need to handle their whole like MetaMask seed phrase and things like that. They can do it all in one place, and that's going to make onboarding very easy. And because of all of this, you're already seeing how Base is starting to scale, how Base is starting to just shoot up in TVL. Right now, the TVL for Base is at its all-time high of $12.6 billion. And it's going to continue to grow. Why that is because another inevitable flipping is going to happen. All the Coinbase assets on the platform is still 40x greater than the TVL of Base. So CB Duck put out this tweet. This means that 2.5% asset moves from SEX will be doubling for Base. there's going to be a lot going on to Base as of right now. There's going to be a lot of money flowing into Base. Also, Poet put out this tweet here. The US government just published the GDP data on blockchain, calling it proof of concept for all of government, right? This means that GDP isn't just a pilot. Imagine when inflation, jobs, and spending data follows, right? Coinbase fingerprints are all over this effort, and they run Base. Straight up, if you're sidelined, you're just not paying attention. Stop it. Pay attention to Base, guys. Now, as I said, there's going to be more conversation between Solana and Base. As you guys can see, Solana leads all chains with 5 billion DEX volume, 56% more than Ethereum, and 218% more than Base. Now, Solana is much more mature than Base, as this is the second cycle for Solana, and this is only Base's first cycle, and it's doing tremendous numbers. Now, I think that race is going to get even more close, as you guys can see right now from Poet again. Coinbase quietly rolled out the DEX trading to 5% users. Remember, it was I think it was at 1% of the users, or 2%, something like that, right? Aerodrome's volume exploded 30% immediately. Imagine that going up to 90%, maybe even 50%. That is crazy, right? It's just a little tiny rollout. When other 95% come on chain, it will move parabolically fast. And you guys can see, just looking onto this post here, this is a 30% increase from just 2 weeks of volume from before. Like I said, if you wait to where it's like 50%, 60%, 70%, 95%, the whole thing is out there on the DEX, things might look a little bit more interesting talking about this post again, right? Because the DEX volume is up there for Solana. But like I said, Solana, what Solana has going for it is that essentially they have pretty much the biggest crypto influencers backing it, especially on crypto Twitter, right? You got Thread Guy, Ansem, all these guys here are content creators that are pretty much like, I wouldn't say backed by Solana, but well, Thread Guy actually just had a whole live stream on the Solana Twitter account. So that is huge, right? Base is going to continuously build out, and they're going to eventually get some of the biggest content creators as well. Right now I could see them having some of the smaller content creators, but all of that is going to add up to competing with Solana. Base just crossed 200 billion in volume, right? This is on Uniswap itself, right? And people aren't really talking too much about Uniswap when it comes down to Base, but they're still doing numbers there. But again, the biggest beneficiary of all of that is happening onto Base and Coinbase is going to be Aerodrome. As Base continues to not have a token, a lot of people are going to be using Aerodrome as the proxy token, and it's still fairly cheap as of right now. This is pretty much, I could see this becoming the biggest DEX, right? We've already made the video on it, Aerodrome versus Uniswap. Some people think it's going to be bigger than Uniswap, some people don't. Time will tell how things is going to play out, of course, in the future. But Aerodrome is only sitting at $1.16 at $1 billion market cap. FDV is 2 billion. Its all-time high was previously $2.32, and just right before right before all this little crash thing happened, we was actually on our way to getting back up there. We was at $1.50. This whole drop happened here, and it's still holding up nicely compared to a lot of different alts. And like I said, we're going to be seeing some blue chips coming up on the Base ecosystem. We already told you guys, I believe that Aerodrome is going to probably be the biggest blue chip on the whole Base ecosystem. But then next, you're going to have to talk about things like Zora. Why? Because the Zora flywheel right now is looking pretty good, right? So Swap APIs has already facilitated over $59 million in Zora coin swaps across 352,000 trades, with a high of $27.5 million in July. In total, over 1.8 million tokens have been minted on Zora across approximately 200k creators, and you guys can see it's just growing. I think it's going to go up a little bit more. There has been a little bit of rugs, one from like some big content creators, sorry, well, one was a big content creator, and then another one was a celebrity boxer, right? So things, it's still fairly new. We'll see how things is going to play out, as they're trying to be like the Instagram of crypto essentially. And if they're able to onboard some big celebs or have a explosive creator coin and go up to, like, let's say 20 million, 50 million, even 100 million market cap, that is going to have a lot of people talking about it. That is something that Virtuals was able to do in its early days. So you guys can still look at Zora right now. You could look at it as it has topped in a short term, or if you have in a longer term outlook, you can see this has, pretty much some decent buying potential as of right now to go even higher. I told you guys I'm giving this around that virtual treatment, so it could get up to like a 4 billion market cap, 2.2 to 4 billion market cap. That would be decent, right? That's 10x to 20x from here, right? You're looking at a 7 cents. Its all-time high again was 20 days ago. It is down 46.9% from its all-time high. And why you cannot fade Zora and the content creator coins is essentially Brian has told you they're going to continue to support creators on the Base app. This comes off the back of him showing a post of him buying a creator coin on Coinbase, the Coinbase app, which is a creator from Zora, right? So that directly benefits Zora, the Coinbase app, and other content creators that's going to be building or having their own coins on here. So it's hard to fade Zora and the Zora ecosystem when it comes down to bait. What's also pretty interesting that might go overlooked a little bit is the fact that Virtuals is still here. A lot of their agents is also building out Base mini apps that's going to give them access to pretty much a lot of users, right? So things could get interesting. As you guys already know, the one of the most talked about agent that's going to be on a Base app is Mambo, right? You're going to have other agents on there that's also building out from if I remember, RCat, Flagship, and a few others that's going to be building out their own Base mini app. Flight, that is going to be a whole, agent for airlines and things like that. So there's a lot of things that's going to be happening on the Base app that can benefit the cryptos that's going to be building out their Base mini apps on there. Now, is that going to benefit Virtuals as a whole? We'll have to see how that's going to play out as of right now, but Virtuals right now is still at a decent price. This was looking like it was going to be the early blue chip on Base, but it is still a very good play, right? It is the leading AI agent launchpad as of right now, and they're still building out things for their ACP protocol. The whole agentic economy is still here, it's still coming up, so Virtuals is always going to be in the talks. At $1.14, market cap of $744 million, fully diluted valuation of $1.1 billion. Its all-time high was 8 months ago where it hit $5, so it is down 77.6% from its all-time high. Now, talking about agents in the agentic economy here, Rennick here, who is the founder and CEO of Giza. You guys already know I'm pretty bullish on Giza. He tells you why they chose Base, right? We could have launched Giza agents anywhere in crypto, right? But felt that Base was home from day one. First, he highlights the gas costs, right? That is important where you're going to have agents pretty much just making thousands of trades, thousands of transactions daily across multiple protocols. So it has to, the chain that they choose has to be gas efficient. So what does that mean? That agents that's going to be building out for the agentic economy is probably going to be looking for a chain that is pretty gas efficient, meaning very cheap to, do a bunch of transactions. So that is where Base comes in. Second, of course, you got speed. Base is pretty fast, honestly. A lot of times, a lot of these newer chains are pretty fast. Some people won't actually notice how fast they are because it just seems instantly for some of them, right? Now, third is pretty interesting here because deep markets that don't trap capital. This is what I meant by depths of market. Agents need liquidity dense enough to move serious capital without slippage and getting funds stuck. Base's $8 billion in stablecoin market across Morpho, Aave, Compound, etc. gives their agents the depth that they need. If Armor needs to reallocate $2 million between protocol, it happens seamless. No failed transaction, no capital getting trapped in illiquid pool. And with all that, they've been able to achieve 1.4 billion in autonomous volume, delivering 15% APR and 100% positive PNL across 380,000 transactions. So again, that has me bullish on something as a low cap like this, which is Giza sitting at a $34 million market cap. If you guys scroll down, its all-time high was 3 months ago where it hit 48 cents, just down 49.3% from its all-time high. But essentially, you guys are seeing why I am bullish on Base and why I'm targeting a few different altcoins in this ecosystem. Of course, in the ecosystem, you have something like Zora that has its own ecosystem, like content creator coins, which you can use to build out your portfolio, of course, build out a trading bag, things like that, just like you did with the virtual agents. You can use them as a tool to just help you grow a bigger bag to put into something else, preferably on Base. But of course, this is not financial advice, but I want to know what you guys think about Base and the whole ecosystem and how Base is building out. Eventually, I do think that we're probably going to end up making a video about Solana versus Base. We'll see how that's going to happen. All right. because I don't even want to get attacked, but we'll see how that is going to happen. But you guys let me know, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below, and if you guys haven't subscribed already yet, please do so. We're on that road to 30,000 subscribers, and if you guys want to help out with that, hit that red subscribe button. I'll try you guys later. Peace, YouTube.